So, I finally watched this movie in the year 2022. And I heard it was bad. And I know Ryan Reynolds himself actually makes jokes of this movie a lot. Like Deadpool, he jokes about this movie a ton. I didn't realize how bad it was until I actually watched it in the year 2022. And on this episode of Movie Breakdowns, I'm going to review Green Lantern from 2011. Just I'm going to say 2011, but no, 2011. Green Lantern. Enjoy. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series. We look at new and old movies, give them a grade, 8 through plus and minus do count. And if the movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to it as quick as I can. Also have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka on Patreon. For $2 a month, you get the cut in front of everybody's reviews before they come out on Facebook and YouTube. You get trade reaction, trade reviews, and much more content on the Patreon. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of Green Lantern from 2011. And this is a spoiler review, guys, because one, this movie's been out for 10 plus years now, and two, I'm thinking I can talk about this movie without spoiling it. It is not good. What is this movie about? This movie is about Hal Jordan, who is a normal human. He gets the power of the Green Lantern ring and now has to adapt with the ability of having superhero powers and saving the world from the evil Parallax who uses fear to consume people. That is the plot, the A plot. But there's much more, a lot more stuff. The things that I like, the concept, it was neat. It was a very interesting designed movie. You get the Green Lantern on a big screen. That's about it. The things I didn't like, well, let me get my phone out for this because this list is massive. Okay, so where did I start? I guess I can talk about the CGI. That is the first blaring thing you see when you get the movie, like get into the movie is CGI, like the suits is CGI, the design of certain characters is CGI, and it is really like video game-ish CGI. And this is 2011, so we have seen Thor 1, we have seen Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, we have seen The Incredible Hulk, we have seen, and The Incredible Hulk has the CGI hit and miss, Pirates of the Caribbean 1, we have seen iRobot, we have seen Spider-Man's, all those Spider-Man movies up to this point, and I believe Amazing Spider-Man, if not, he's later, but we have enough movies to see CGI and know what good CGI is and know what bad CGI is. And this movie, CGI is just not good. Now, I don't understand to this day why they made the suit CGI. Maybe they want to be different. Maybe they thought it would be easier. It just didn't work. It really didn't. And when you see the CGI mask on Ryan Reynolds' face, it looks off. Like, badly off. Then we have the writing. The writing and dialogue of this movie. The dialogue of characters, for example, Blake Lively gets lines that just sounds dry and doesn't sound good at all. And matter of fact, a lot of the cast, because besides Ryan Reynolds and Mark Strong and Waititi, I've seen a few of them in other movies. I know what kind of performance Mark Strong can deliver. I know what kind of performance Ryan Reynolds can deliver from X-Men Origins before this movie. You have the Blade series he was in. So seeing this and seeing how he's kind of subdued, and I know he don't want to be the same character in each movie, which Hal Jordan is not like Deadpool character. They're two different types of people. But it just didn't work for me, and the way the writing made these characters didn't flow well, and the dialogue didn't flow well for me as well, where you're just like, man, I love the character, but like this writing and dialogue is not good. And this movie also want to hit the topic of fear. That our main character, Hal Jordan, is afraid, but never said what he's afraid of. Like at the beginning of the movie, his dad died in an airplane incident, and Hal Jordan was doing another, pilot incident, and he's about to crash, and he sees his dad picture and has this flashback of his dad, and then that's about it. And the movie brings back up his dad a lot, but it never really showed you the kind of connection he had to his dad, like why his dad was so important. It's like, oh, you looked up to your dad and he died. Okay, cool beans. And then you had the relationship between Hal Jordan and Carol, which you're like, okay, I'd like to see how they got together. A little backstory about that, besides we grew up together. Okay. And then you have Hammond, who's another villain, who's probably jealous of Hal Jordan because he got Carol, or dated Carol, or whatever the case would be, and he's obsessed with Carol. But besides him looking at a picture of her in the newspaper, you don't know what that is. You know the obsession. We don't see them really connect to each other, talk to each other, besides an event where they say like 2 words to each other. And then Hal Jordan and Hammond had like a conversation, but it was never really fleshed out. Like, who are these people? Why do we care? We get a backstory on Amanda Waller for like 2 minutes on a flashback, who's not even in the conclusion of the movie. She's just here. Why? Why did we get the backstory on her? Okay, cool. We go to the Lantern Corps, and we get to see the rest of the Green Lanterns. But they don't really do much besides a quick training montage where they beat up Hal Jordan and talk about, you're afraid of stuff, you fear. What does he fear? Failure? Success? We don't see it. Like, we see that he's one of the best pilots in the world. That doesn't like failure to me. He about to crash his plane, and he panicked in the moment of crashing, but he survived, and like, it never looked like he was really torn up about anything. I made a mistake with Carol. How did you make a mistake with her? You was sleeping with another woman being in the movie, but y'all wasn't dating. Like, you were a playboy. I don't know. Like, they try to make Hal Jordan seem like such an empathetic character, but there's nothing about him that really gave you that empathy, or gave you gonna be sympathetic tourism. I'm not saying that word right, but or empathetic tourism. Like, it just wasn't done right. The writing for this wasn't good at all. And you try to incorporate 2 villains, one you don't give 2 craps about because he just showed up. And at first I thought I missed how Hammond got his powers. I was like, maybe I didn't season them right. And how he got his powers, he was messing with an alien's, corpse, and the bullet hole that the alien got shot in was apparently corrupted by fear. So when Hammond put his finger into the corpse, the fear shot into his hands, and then he became had power parallax, and he can read people's minds, and doesn't really explain how that happened because parallax can't read minds, but he can read people's minds and make things float and use levitation with his mind, I guess. I don't know. He's just there, and I really don't understand how this happened. Not at all. But I see how he got the powers. It just didn't explain what his power was. In fact, I had to Google him to see if he was actual canon villain in Green Lantern. He is. I didn't know who he is, and his name was just Hammond. Just Hammond. Doesn't even have a super villain name. Just Hammond. Just Hammond. Also, Taiki Waititi. I'm gonna mess his name up. I'm gonna get it right later. Sorry, I messed your name up, man. He's in his movie, and he's there as the best friend of Hal Jordan, but you don't know that. Like, you see he's there. I think Hal Jordan references him as the best friend, but like, who are you, man? Who are you? The writing for this is not good. It's definitely not a solid movie. CGI is not good. What else do I have here? Waller's backstory, dialogue, the love triangle that they try to make. Oh, yeah. So, this movie is, an hour and 54 minutes, almost 2 hours long. And I remember watching this and like, hey, when we gonna get to the climax of the movie? Because this movie's, I feel like we don't have that much time left. I paused the movie, had 30 minutes left before he meets Parallax face to face and before he fights Hammond one more time. And I was like, this movie moves somewhat slow. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good movie. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the box office for this movie. This movie had a budget of $200 million estimated, and it grossed worldwide 219 plus. So it did, it barely broke even. Like, it just a little bit over breaking even. Like, this movie did not make money at all. Opening weekend made, wow, $53 million plus. So it didn't make that much money over the opening weekend. And the director is Martin Campbell, which I don't know the stuff he did, but he was the director of this movie. And let's go ahead and get into the cast. Yes, Ryan Reynolds, who played Hal Jordan. Ryan Reynolds was a very charismatic character, and I get Hal Jordan's not that charismatic. Like, matter of fact, most of the characterization, I remember him in comic books and movies. I don't remember much about the character. Like, I'm not a big Green Lantern fan, but when it comes to Green Lantern, I know John Stewart and a few others, and Kyle Rayner. But as far as Hal Jordan, I know he becomes Parallax, and I know he becomes Spectre. But he just seemed like a guy who's just kind of like wise kind of guy. I know who can get susceptible to anger and frustration. But yeah, not really much else about him. Blake Lively, who played Carol. For Blake Lively, I haven't seen her in anything else. So this is like the one time I had to really recognize her. And one of the best things about it, her and Ryan Reynolds met on this movie, from what I remember from the gossip. I could be wrong, I could know her before. But she was fine. I think the line and delivery, the lines that she was given to say didn't work well. And but other than that, I feel like she was fine. Peter Sarsgaard, who plays Hector Hammonds, he screamed a lot. He screamed a lot. The character Hector Hammonds is definitely not a good villain. You don't care about him. He shows up like a little bit into the movie, and he's a scientist, but then also he's kind of an outcast, and he attacked a student, and he could read minds now because he got attacked by a alien bullet wound. That's not even there's no explanation how it worked. It's just he got attacked, and then he got powers, and then he was evil. I guess because he's corrupted by Parallax. I don't know. The character wasn't written well. And he had a love relationship with Carol, but like, you don't know. He just kept looking at Carol's picture, but nothing about them like showing they grew up together. Nothing about them showing them been around each other. Why he's obsessed with Carol. None of that. It's just, girl in the picture, I'm jealous of you, Hal. What? Mark Strong, who plays Sinestro. Yeah, it was cool to see Sinestro in this movie. It'd be kind of cool to see him do more than we saw just talk and give a lot of exposition dump, but fine. Like, he's cool. This movie has a lot of exposition, by the way. It's exposition filled. There's a lot of talking, a lot of backstory, a lot of what this is going on, and this happens, but nothing you really see. Taika Waititi, who played Thomas, he was fine. He maybe had like a couple of scenes. Didn't really know much else. Angela Bassett, who played Dr. Waller. Amanda Waller, who ended up being played by Viola Davis later on in the Suicide Squad, but she was there. Fun fact. Tamura Morrison, who plays Abner Sewer. He's, Boba Fett. He's in the movie. And Clancy Brown played Parallax. And as far as Parallax goes, he's a giant cloud-like figure who's one of the guardians of Oa, who turned evil when he got hold of fear, and he's just consumed with killing people. I don't even know what his problem is or what his actual agenda was. And Hal Jordan, as the rest of the, Green Lantern Corps to help him out. They're like, oh no, man, bro, you're good. And he goes fight Parallax on his own and beat Parallax at the end of the movie with a punch into the sun. And the rest of Green Lantern, who apparently gave him more exposition dump, saves them at the end of the movie, but they just show up at the very last second. There's only 3 of them. Who, by the way, Parallax destroyed like 9 of the Green Lanterns before he fought Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan just made it look easy. Super easy, barely inconvenience, like just knocked them out. And I'm just like, sure. That's it for the cast. Like, the writings for this movie is not good. You have this whole thing about Hal Jordan being afraid of stuff, but it never showed what he's afraid of. It'd be interesting if he's like afraid of commitment, or he's afraid of success, or he's afraid of failure, or he's afraid of all these other things, but it never says exactly what he's afraid of, so you never get to know, like, oh, I can relate to him. Like, dude, we all have fears. Like, what are you afraid of? Like, it never explained why he's afraid. And okay, go to the family dynamic, and maybe he misses his dad. He could have went that route with his dad and try to be like his dad, and he's trying to be like a role model versus being his own person. This movie could be about him growing into his own person. Cause they mentioned the dad multiple times. The dad died doing a airplane accident. They say he tried to be like your father. One of his brothers get mad at him and never gets touched on again. He gets jumped because he ruined a seminar, so he gets jumped by these people who somehow figure out where he was and Rick showed how. And Carol, who has all this power at the job that keeps him around, like keeps wanting to tell him to talk about things and about what happened, and he doesn't really say anything, and she kind of has this conversation to like fear is something we all have. It makes you human, and you gotta overcome fear. It's not about the ring didn't choose because you're perfect now, because it chose you for what your potential is gonna be. And he was like, yeah, alright, I'm ready to go. I know how to face Parallax. I might be scared, but I am gonna beat him because I have more will. You're like, what? It's just not a good written movie, man. It's not a good written movie. I am very disappointed in this movie. And is it the worst movie I've seen? No. But it's definitely not a C grade. It's not a C grade. Any other thoughts? Music? I don't remember much music in the movie. Okay. Is it a Friday night movie? No. No, it's not. I'm hurt. I feel hurt by this movie. Man. Alright. Grading time. I'm going to grade Green Lantern from 2011 a D-. It gets a D- for me. Like a 60%. It's not a 65%. I'm going to have it at a D, but I just feel like this movie, the concept was there. It just wasn't executed right. So many ideas, so many story points trying to have us in here and not fleshing out characters. You don't really care about any of the characters. It'd be different if you cared about somebody, but you just don't care. They are just there. They are just there. And it's sad. It's super sad because this could have been something. This could have been something good. It's gonna be something good. They just maybe focus on maybe the dad storyline, or maybe the commitment issue that he has. But it keeps saying he's afraid of something you don't know what he's afraid of, and you're watching like, what are you afraid of? Please tell us, because we want to know as an audience. We want to connect. Who is Hammond? Hector Hammond. Why is he here? Why does he care about Carol so much? And why is there so much exposition about like, oh, here's what happened years ago for Parallax, and then the Guardians of Oa, and oh, here's Guardians of Oa again. They're just in this chair. And you know what? They thought they were gonna have a sequel with Sinestro. They really did, and they dropped the ball on this one, man. It's not a solid movie. It's a D- for me. If you've seen Green Lantern from 2011, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. I didn't even feel like diving into the CGI because it's one of the worst things you're gonna see from 2011. Like, there's so much more movies with better CGI than this that I'm not sure why they thought it'd be a good idea. Like, maybe it's like movie 3. They could have introduced that kind of CGI and maybe say, but we'll see what happens. But when it's your first one and you're not, trying to get a franchise off the ground that could be super crazy over the top. Thor worked. Green Lantern could have been that too for DC, and it wasn't. So here's a D-. If you guys seen Green Lantern from 2011, what did you think? Please put it in the comment section below on that. See you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.